Hello Tigers, and welcome to the TMNtv Newscast for Wednesday, October 17, 2018. Stay tuned for the latest news at Fort Hays State University and around Northwest Kansas and the nation. I am Lauren Davis, and Jenna Hawley will be here shortly with a look at what's going on around the globe. And Haley White will fill you in on what's happening in the sports world. But first, here's what's making news in Tigerland. A Fort Hays State fraternity turned a messy idea to help raise money to attend a conference. People were able to pay $1 to pie a frat guy in the face. The money will be used to help send members from local chapters to the Heartland Safety Summit.
On Wednesday, October 10th, the Campus Interfraternity Council hosted a Pie a Fraternity Guy event in the FHSU quad. For only $1, participants could smash a pie tin full of whipped cream into a fraternity member's face. According to Garrett McBlair, president of the Interfraternity Council, they put on this event to raise money to help send some of their members to the Heartland Safety Summit.
It's kind of a sexual assault, sexual harassment conference. So these members get to go and learn about gender-based violence. They get to learn a little bit about what it's like on campus, off campus, what we can do for prevention, learning some more of like the law logistics behind it.
Some upcoming events Greek Life is hosting are Game Night with Sigma Alpha Epsilon on October 19th and the FHSU Halloween Costume Contest on October 25th in Memorial Union Ballroom. More details can be found on Tigerland. This has been Mark Shookman with Tiger Media Network.
All those sniffles and coughs on campus have signaled the arrival of flu season. Several counties across the state are reporting the first cases of the flu this year, and state officials have said 2 people have died from influenza so far. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment reported that number Monday, and also noted 38 deaths have been attributed to pneumonia this year. The flu season last year was one of the deadliest in state history. A total of 193 deaths were attributed to the flu in the state. Symptoms of the flu include a fever that lasts 3 to 4 days, aches, chills, tiredness, a cough, and headaches. If you think you might have flu-like symptoms, please schedule an appointment with the Student Health Center. A longtime University of Kansas assistant basketball coach was the latest KU official to be named during testimony Tuesday in New York. Curtis Townsend was allegedly in contact with Merle Code, an Adidas consultant at the time, in discussion about getting a top recruit to Lawrence for this season. The player later signed with Duke. A wiretap transcript showed Townsend and Code discuss getting 5-star recruit Zion Williamson to KU, and that the player's father was looking for some type of job, money, and housing. A day earlier, testimony showed KU coaches allegedly were aware of connections with Adidas consultants who helped steer top prospects to KU, including Silvio De Sousa and Billy Preston. KU head coach Bill Self said he would not comment on the situation until after the trial. Dodge City's polling site is coming under fire from the ACLU ahead of November's general election. The ACLU says the city's lone temporary polling location is a concern due to its location on the edge of the city. Secretary of State Chris Kobach, also a candidate for governor, said the site is not a problem. Brian Caskey, the statewide election director, said Dodge City officials have done a good job finding a new polling site since their usual site won't be available due to renovations. The ACLU claims travel to the new temporary site on the south end of town will hamper Hispanic voters on the north side of town. The group said the city of 27,000 people is more than 50% Hispanic. A Phillipsburg High School senior put his name into the record books last Friday night. Jonathan Honeycutt became the state's all-time leading scorer as a kicker with a 39-yard field goal en route of Hoisington. The field goal gave Honeycutt 217 kicking points in his career, passing former Olathe North standout Joe Garcia's 214. That mark was set from 1994 to 1996. Phillipsburg won the game 51-21, and Honeycutt will have a few more games this season to increase his career totals. Candidates for Ellis County Commission in the 111th District in the State House of Representatives squared off Tuesday night in the Memorial Union at Fort Hays. Republican Butch Schleier, Democrat Chris Rohrabaugh, and Independent John Waltz each laid out their platform and answered questions from the audience in the nearly hour-long debate for the county commission spot. Incumbent Democrat Ever Phelps and Republican Barr Wazinger each discussed their strategies and answered numerous questions from the audience during the debate for the 111th position. The general election is set for November 6th. Those are the stories making headlines in our region this week. After we return from this short break, Jenna will be here with a look at what's happening around the globe.
5, 4, 3, 2, take it.
The Tiger Media Network is Fort Hays State University's independent student media organization. It's a student employment opportunity where you can work for either the news side or the sports side. So you can be on live sports production, which produces all of the live sports broadcasts that we do, or you could be on the news side and do news stories covering things on campus, so presidential announcements, Student Government Association. We bring that news to the student community and the Hays community as well.
You don't realize how much Fort Hays State has to offer until you're here.
I mean, it is definitely, this is the land of opportunity here.
I just got back from the MIAA tournament in Kansas City a couple weeks ago where we worked with other production crews including Pitt State and Central Missouri. And it's a great time. I've gone there the last couple years.
For me anyway, I get to do sports, which is what I love. And if live productions is where that's at.
This is the perfect place to do it. We have almost everything that you could possibly imagine.
Tiger Media Network allows you the opportunity to take the skills you've learned and put them forward in a real world, real application setting that allows you to flourish and grow as a professional, and that will only help you and benefit you when you graduate and go into the real world workforce.
Hello Tigers, I'm Jenna Hawley, and here is what's going on around the globe. An investigation has begun in the light of the murder of a missing Saudi Arabian journalist. Jamal Khashoggi was killed 2 weeks ago at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. According to CNN, Turkish officials have said privately that Khashoggi was murdered on the 2nd. He was there to obtain what would have allowed him to marry his fiancée. She says she never saw him after that day. On Friday, a source claimed there was audio and visual evidence of his murder. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo visited Saudi Arabia on Tuesday to meet with King Salman, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and Foreign Minister Al Zojair. My assessment from these meetings is that there is serious commitment to determine all the facts and ensure accountability, including accountability for Saudi Arabia's senior leaders or senior officials, Pompeo said after the meeting. A top-ranking senator is betting on high returns for Republicans on Election Day. Senator Lindsey Graham, while speaking at the Heritage Foundation President's Club, said he expects everything will turn out well for Republicans when votes are cast. The South Carolina senator said, "We are off to the races. Everything is breaking our way." The GOP holds a slight majority in both houses, and that could switch depending on how election results come out November 6th. President Donald Trump said a personal former attorney was lying when saying he paid hush money after an alleged affair. Michael Cohen earlier stated he paid 2 women who Trump allegedly had extramarital affairs with. Trump has denied the claims and said Cohen's testimony was totally false. The president accused Cohen of striking a deal to get a lighter sentence. Cohen recently pleaded guilty to 8 counts of tax fraud, making false statements to a bank, and campaign finance violations. A Nevada man running for a seat in the Nevada Assembly has died. Dennis Hoff, the owner and Republican nominee, was the predicted winner of the general election in a few weeks, but Hoff was found dead at his signature brothel in Nye County. Officials said Hoff apparently went to sleep and didn't wake up. Hoff gained notoriety after his brothel was featured in an HBO series called Cat House. Hoff was 72. On Monday, a California man facing charges of traveling across the country to incite a riot and violence was told he will be detained until his trial. Cole Evan White and 3 others from California were charged earlier this month for traveling to Charlottesville last year to join hundreds of others at a white nationalist rally. The affidavit said the men went to the rally with taped fists and were prepared to engage in physical violence. Officials said they are allegedly part of the so-called Rise Above movement, which is a white supremacist group that focuses on anti-Semitism and trains others in boxing and street fighting techniques. Senator Elizabeth Warren was blasted by President Donald Trump this week for claiming she has distant Native American ancestry. Warren revealed a DNA test that showed she is a small percentage Native American. Trump called the test bogus. The president said the test was a scam and a lie and said Warren should apologize for perpetrating the fraud against the American public. Warren responded by saying on Twitter that Trump has a habit of responding to women who scare him. A female student at a California high school allegedly baked some of the ashes of her late grandfather into cookies and handed the treats out at the school. Some students were aware the ashes were in the cookies, while others were not prior to eating them. Some thought the extra ingredient in the cookies was marijuana. Police have been investigating the incident and are trying to figure out what laws might have been broken. The students have been cooperating with the investigation. One student said the cookies didn't taste unusual, but described the feeling as when you were a little kid and would eat sand. The principal of the school has said there is no health risk to the students who ate the cookies. That's what is happening in the news world this week. Stay tuned for a sports update with Haley White when we return.
I think there's a perception out there that web and mobile application development is this field where you sit behind a computer all day and code. And that's not it at all, right? And there's even a perception out there that geek is bad. But I think students should embrace their inner geek. We don't code all day. We look at issues, we look at problems, and try to figure out the pieces of the puzzle and how to put them together to build things.
I was able to learn JavaScript, HTML, CSS, PHP, just kind of the whole 9 yards with that. So I really enjoyed the full program that they offered here.
Anything that you're interested in, the field of web and mobile application development, there's a value to. There's nothing like what we have in the informatics department. If you choose to take everything in the buffet that we offer, you'll be very well prepared for any type of job opportunity that's out there.
I'm Haley White, and this is the sports segment. It took less than 30 seconds on the clock for the Tigers to take the lead Saturday against the co-leaders of the conference, Pittsburgh State. The Tigers never let up during the contest, going on to beat the Gorillas 50-21. With the win, FHSU pulled Pitt into a tie for second place in MIAA standings. Quarterback Jacob Missouri broke both school records for passing yards and passing touchdowns Saturday, finishing with 231 yards and 3 touchdowns. Missouri now has 7,083 passing yards and 56 passing touchdowns in his career. Missouri's efforts on Saturday earned him MIAA Co-Offensive Athlete of the Week honors. Also, with Saturday's win, the Tigers returned to the D2Football.com Top 25 poll. The Tigers will have a tough contest ahead of them Saturday as the team hits the road to face the 4-3 Nebraska Kearney Lopers with an 11 a.m. start. During this week's press conference, defensive lineman Malik Young, wide receiver Harley Hazlitt, and head coach Chris Brown discuss how they can't overlook this improved Lopers team.
Really standing our gaps and shedding the line to work down the field to keep contained, making sure they just going east and west instead of north and south. So that's the main thing. Definitely do get better and better every week because we have a lot of mental errors. So every week we correct our mental errors. So we just try to get better at that. Make sure we fix the small things.
They play a lot of prevent style because they play cover 4. So they're just gonna sit back and we just gotta stay patient, keep making plays, and then when we get our shot plays, and we got to make sure that we capitalize on them.
It's just something that we got to take care of business and do our job and worry about ourselves and get ourselves better this week and hopefully get the win on Saturday.
After having success over the weekend in Gross Memorial Coliseum, FHSU volleyball looked to keep its streak going Monday night against number 2 Nebraska Kearney in front of a home crowd. The Tigers made a statement in the opening set, beating the Lopers 25-23. However, the Lopers capitalized on the lost set and ultimately took the next 3 with more than a 10-point advantage each set. The Tigers will continue their homestand with yet another test against number 11 Washburn Friday at 6 p.m. FHSU men's soccer sealed their second consecutive MIAA championship on Monday with an overtime goal by Moritz Walther to win at home over Northeastern State. Walther's penalty kick was the only point of the match, allowing the Tigers to clinch the title. Fort Hays will be back on the road on Sunday for a non-conference match against the University of Mary in Bismarck, North Dakota at 3:30 p.m. FHSU women's soccer posted a shutout during the team's second match of the weekend. The Tigers beat Lindenwood 3-0 Sunday, led by freshman Kaylee Perkins. During the second half of the match, Perkins netted her first goal of the day in the 68th minute of the play. Perkins followed up with another goal just minutes after. The third and final goal was made in the 87th minute of the match when Perkins assisted Jenna Prince for her first goal as a Tiger. The Tigers will head back to Missouri this weekend to face Missouri Southern on Friday and Southwest Baptist on Sunday. The men's cross-country team finished 7th overall and second among MIAA teams during the Tiger Open at the Sam Plum Nature Trail Saturday morning. The women's team also had a solid performance against tough competition Saturday as they finished 9th. The Tigers returned to the course in 3 weeks when they traveled to Emporia to compete in the MIAA Championships on November 3rd. The men's race is slated for 9 a.m. and the women are set to begin at 11. Although their winning streak came to an end, the Kansas City Chiefs put up an impressive fight Sunday night against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. A last-second New England field goal sealed the fate of the Chiefs, ending the game with a 43-40 score and terminating the Kansas City's undefeated record. The Chiefs look to continue their winning streak at home this weekend with a Sunday night matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals at 7:20 in Arrowhead. Coming off a 1-1 draw against the LA Galaxy, Sporting Kansas City take on the Vancouver Whitecaps FC tonight with a 9 p.m. start. After tonight's match, Sporting will be back in action Sunday in Frisco, Texas, as KC will take on first place FC Dallas at 4 p.m. Those are the stories in sports this week. Tune in next week for another TMNtv episode. To stay up to date on the latest news and information, visit TigerMediaNet.com. Until then, roar Tigers.